Welcome to this mindset class. Welcome to this Q&A as well. If anybody needs help after that, we can always run that as well. Um, First and foremost, good job of being here today. I did express my opinion on how important it would be. Today, we're gonna talk about, you know, one of the things that is not really talked about all the time, which is basically the weekly hurdle, the daily problems, the stress, being able to really kind of like learn how to behave versus the stress, how to overcome things. And as always, everybody wants to always look for the technique, the tactical thing. Um, and throughout the presentation, I'm gonna share this part, and I know that everybody wants to always like talk about what tool do I need, what technique should I use if I want to lose weight. Yet everybody always forgets the bottom of the pyramid, which is basically the principle, the belief shifting, the thing that you really need to focus on. When you cannot do something, when you cannot do the things that you're supposed to do, right? And it's funny because mindset is what nobody really talks about. What everybody struggle with, but nobody really talks about, right? Every single time something happens to you, like if that's you, you get really kind of like stressed, you get really reactive, and then if you reinforce these behaviors, then it becomes like a prophecy almost, and you become, you build a story within your own mind that it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and then you end up not really achieving, right? You end up being that person that basically he kind of like fails at every single thing. And that's of course that's can potentially be a prophecy if that's the case. And how does that happen? It's quite simple. I'm gonna share this quick video that we can all watch together. That the Tony Robbins success cycle, and this is good. I like this because it's kind of like a minute long only, so we don't necessarily take a lot of time. But this is kind of like it's easy to understand that this is the reality if you actually see it. So as you can see, that's not only, I mean, that's something that happened like personally to me. So like I know that that's the case, and I see this all the time. And when I see that, I always say the biggest problem of people not achieving results when results mean success, it mean like um, let's say success means for you seeing your abs, right? Or seeing a lean body that you want to achieve, or seeing, being stronger, or winning a competition. Whenever that doesn't happen, it doesn't help if you never achieve it before. If that's the first time you see it, that doesn't help. When you see it, you already have a memory created, and that's kind of like makes stuff a little bit easier. It's not simple, it's easier. I would ask a very, personal thing here. If it's not, I mean, aside from Elizabeth, I guess she's driving, and other people, I guess maybe they're doing something else. If you can put your camera on, it would be amazing. If you could, if you don't want, that's fine. But it's much easier and more fun to talk to me to faces than just, you know, names, but it's fine if you're doing something or if you have naked and obviously you don't want, that's totally understandable. But a good seeing new people coming in as well as Lamis and everybody else. Welcome to this call. Today I'm gonna teach you based on what I feel is good based on my experience. What I like to say, unstuck yourself. How do you do the things that you're supposed to be doing, or unfuck yourself even? That's kind of like how we put it up in the picture, and that I know that that's the thing that it was helpful. And I'll give you a little bit of a framework, and I give you things such as if you want to achieve results when it comes to um, fitness, health, you really need to take it as sometimes a little bit different than you're taking it, right? And like I said, we saw the success cycle right now. And the first thing problem that I see every single time is that people cannot handle discomfort, right? And when you cannot handle discomfort, you make a problem to be very small to become big. And I always say you have to become good at fixing small problems before you can fix big problems. If you haven't achieved results, if you are the person that says, I never lose weight, or I never built a business, I never do anything big into my career, I never get a good relationship, I'm kind of unlucky, right? So you basically like sometimes instead of asking why that's happened to me all the time, why don't you just ask, what could I have done different? What can I just like do differently, right? How can I just handle better the stress? How can I become more comfortable being uncomfortable, right? When I used to be the same person too, I got uncomfortable. I used to escape from the problem. Half of my world's traveling, going around, US and Australia, whatever, it was to escape from problems. And this is fitting because right now, whenever something comes up, I have a backlash reaction, right? Like I'll make an example of something really happened last week. In fact, this has happened last week happened to me right after that I posted this call. And that was like, wow, I'm still reactive, right? And I'll talk exactly about what it is. Yeah, that one, but this is kind of like one thing that you kind of like need to be good, right? There is a stress response in your body, you have stressors present in your life, and you have a choice. You either backlash and you either take action under stress and look for a reaction, or you're that person that always escape. The problem when you're a person that always escape and wanna, get taken over from the stress response you have in your body, then that you never take action. And if you don't take action, you don't find a solution. Like you're always like succumb to the stress. Stressor, is things such as, having stuff in your life, something with a family, with a work, the car breakdown, you lose your job. And then there's always this person that they're scared and they escape. One thing they always go first, I saw it very recently, is the health. Oh, I need to finish the program. My husband lost my job, or I need to do this. I lost my car, or I cannot see results right away. I need to go to whatever is greener on the other side. It's like, okay, if that's you, you're always gonna be a B player, C or B player. You're never gonna be an A player. And you're definitely not a D player. D player do nothing. A player win. They always find a way to win. B player are those that always start and stop. They're very insecure. They don't know how to handle stress. That is always an excuse. And if that's you, you're always gonna be you unless you don't focus on becoming an A player. It doesn't have to be today, tomorrow, or a month from now, but it has to be some point. And you need to start by handling stress. You need to start by doing the things under stress, under when something doesn't go your way, right? And a good way to do it, in my opinion, is to really just take better decisions and more so take action under stress. The next thing is actually be able to take binary decisions, right? To take a commitment, to take a commitment. If you decide, I always say choices versus decision, right? Choices is something that give you an out. A lot of people making choices, even unfortunately in the past or in the present in this group, a lot of people, very few people make decisions. Most of you here today, which are in the program, made a decision to change, to improve, to succeed. And even they're still not successful, let's say, not as they want, maybe, they're still making that decision. Making a decision means to cut off all the options. It comes from a Latin root of the word. Like if you dissect it, it's like cutting off, killing the other options. That means like you decide to succeed no matter what happens, no matter if it's gonna be difficult, no matter you're gonna make it work this. Like you need to make it work. Okay, that's kind of like important to understand. Why? Because there is always this excuse. Like for example, I have no time. I'm the busy mom. I'm the busy career woman. I'm the entrepreneur. I cannot give up the weekends. I cannot just give up. It's so hard for me to do not eat. It's so hard, and it's always like what you're really doing is like making a decision. Like it's more important at the moment to have that extra food in the weekend. It's more important not to be judged from your social circle, to not go out. It's more important to have that extra drink. It's more important to be able to say yes versus say no, to not get out for a dinner, whatever the case was, than just exceeding. Because I have facts that in the program I had in the past moms with three, four kids, having two jobs, not one, two jobs, but that two jobs, like jumping from one job to is more so the one that they work for a big company, and then they have one they have to make a drive of 3 hours going on the south, for example, of a country, and then they have their own business there. And those were the people that sometimes they were counting macros in. But if you know that's a skill, it's not easy to do. It's not something that you have to do. It's not something that is necessary to get results. But if those people can make it happen, it means that there is a chance for you. So it means like you that there is no this when you say I am the procrastinator, I'm the busy mom, I'm the emotional leader, you're basically telling yourself a story that you cannot make a decision. You don't yet decide to be successful. You choose. You're making a choice. Yeah, I can be good for a little bit. My favorites are those that get results right away in this program. Like they get really fast results, then in 2 weeks, maybe a month or two, they go back to how they were before because they cannot give up, for example, the weekend meal. So they cannot give up the fact that they feel like they're procrastinators. And why is that a problem? Because if you don't change, then you don't change. That's easy. Okay, so be making binary commitments, binary decisions, meaning like you decide when you want to be successful. That takes us to the next plan, and which is basically this one. You don't have a plan B. Many people choose or decide, they say, I'm gonna try something now, and then it doesn't really work. I'm gonna have a plan B. If it doesn't work, I'm gonna have a plan B. How many times have you heard that? How many times you said, right? If that's you, then that's a big problem. You need to change that mentality. There is no plan B. More like I don't have a plan B if this business doesn't work. I'm gonna figure out later, but that's even thinking it's like you already give yourself an out. You need to make something work. In the past, I always had so many plan B, plan C. No, you have to have plan A. You have to make plan A work, you know? And there was a good quote even I think by Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was saying like, I just succeeded because I had no plan B. There is only plan A. And if you do have plan B, you don't put full potential and action in plan A, like what we just saw before. So that's one thing also that you want to be thinking about, right? And and with this being said, I kind of like wanna say explain you why, because like if you have an operating system thinking that you have a plan B, then you approach the problem or the task with a very light mentality. That's like, okay, I could potentially fail. Okay. And, there was like, I like to show, we're going to see a little bit of clips tonight, and hopefully that's entertaining. If you don't like that setup, please let me know. Because obviously I always like to make things according to what is. It was a small little quote from Spider-Man. I don't know how many of you saw it, but this is kind of like, that's kind of like fitting, right? There is no plan B. Yeah, exactly, right? With great power comes great responsibility. So of those that succeed easily, it doesn't mean like it's supposed to be right. Meaning like if you succeed right away, if you have a lot of power, you shouldn't be like you still also have a lot of responsibility, right? Um, and I see all the time that people never perceive. Um, Here there is no sounds in the videos. Okay, thank you for letting me know. So you don't hear the videos, right? Okay, let's see. Okay, that's kind of a problem. Okay, so I guess we're gonna kind of like you're gonna have to see this. It's not like so much of a sound thing to that. Can you hear this? Still problems? No sound? Okay. So just watch, but you can hear me, right? Okay. So what we're gonna do is like just gonna watch this. I'm gonna kind of like explain what that was. Um, this is just like one of many people, athletes that basically explain what it means to them. This is Serena Williams, right? Um, she explains, like what is the grind of becoming that good, right? And a lot of people watch these athletes and they think like, okay, you're just gonna become like those. And no, there is a grind, like it's like daily work. It's like nobody ever tell you what the reality is, like all these things that she has to do on a daily basis, waking up early, just making stuff happen, just go and train when you don't feel like it's good. And so if when people come and they say, okay, I just want to improve, what gives you the right? Just because you go in with it, sometimes like when you go in with a coaching, it's like, oh, what is the guarantee that we're gonna success? Well, the guarantee is that if you don't do the work, you're gonna stay the same. The guarantee is that if you don't change something, you're likely gonna get worse. That's a guarantee. And if you have shitty habits when you're 30 years old, 20 years old, when you have a worse body, not on the outside, a worse operating system on the inside, a more tired body, a metabolically fatigued body, when you're 50 or 60, what are the chances to succeed if you do not change your operating system on the inside, if you do not change your mindset? What's a guarantee you're going to fail? So just because you have the tools doesn't guarantee the success. And therefore, like you need to really stop thinking on this idea of having a plan B and going on in, right? That takes me to the next thing. It's like, how do you perceive stuff that happened to you? How do you deal with problem, right? One of the things that I posted in one of my coaching things that I am, because I asked that my coaches, they always ask, what is the daily win, right? And a lot of people in business, they say, oh, I got more clients, I got this, I got that. And mine was like, I just really realized how to deal with a problem better this week. That was a big win for me because last week, and this was the thing I was talking before, we had one of those big things that happened with Facebook. They get shut down. They kind of like shut everybody off. You cannot log in. And I resetting the password, I created a mess. I couldn't access my account again. By the way, I had that back now. You also want to be following me not only on that, but on the other one. It's a good idea to have both because you know how Facebook is. Sometimes they shut stuff down, they create this mess for no reason. But I got really stressed myself because I was like, fuck, like now I have to contact everybody, make sure that they have support because otherwise they're gonna feel like something wrong is happening or whatever the case is. That was kind of crazy because I stressed myself and I realized that I was just gonna basically tell you give you my perspective on what to do, but then I was reacting the same way. So what happened was that went against the stress and I tried to find solutions. In fact, I said, I got the other account. I got, I sent out other ways. I went on Telegram. I just did so many other things that I'm like, if they want to shut me down tomorrow, I know what to do, right? I tried finding better solutions, right? And this is the way you want to be operating as well. That type of operation is like going against really be very different when you react to, build a character in one way that something happened, you need to react differently, right? And that takes me to the next point. I said this before in a call. I don't take this the wrong way, but this is something that you should think if you want to be successful. Think one of your most loved one people, person, or like let's say your partner, your kid, your father, your mother, whoever you love the most, somebody that's really dear to you. Let's say you got some people putting a gun to their head, and they said, in 30 days from now, you need to slash, you need to kind of like do something. You need to, I don't know, lose some weight. You need to, find a way to create more success into your business, into your relationship, whatever, right? They give you a goal, a very tangible goal, right? How would you show up? How would you take action? Would you take action the same way you're taking it today? Would you say, I can do it tomorrow? Would you say, maybe I'll try? Or would you just actually take massive action, right? that what way would you operate from, right? What would be your approach? Because I had this happen. That I mean, didn't have a gun, but I had say to me, it's like in the past, it's like, okay, your bank account is this. You need to produce this and this and this by next 30 days. What are you gonna do? Otherwise, you're fired. And believe me, the way you wake up is different. The 300 call you need to make are different. Like you take real action, right? And you see this in I made the example of my uncle contracting a tumor. I made the example of my COVID. I made the example of those things. Like it seems like it didn't really hit home for most people, right? You have a chance right now to succeed. You have a chance. You're not sick, most of you, right? You have a chance. Why do you need another COVID to get you to understand? For many people watching, why do you need that to get you motivated to do the work? Because the good news is you don't have a gun pointed to your head. You don't have a gun pointed to your dear head. But why do you need to wait for motivation? This is kind of the excuse I get all the time. I need to be motivated. No, you don't. You just need to do the work. Why do you need that motivation when you're not happy where you are? You might not be where you need to be in your body, in your health, in your relationship, in your job. Why do you need something to motivate you to actually get? Is that not enough to think that you're gonna stay there for the rest of your life if you don't take action? That's kind of like it makes you think a little bit, right? And that's quite important, right? So that's the thing. It's like you need to fight. You need to kind of like really take to the work regardless, right? You need to really not operate under this stressful mentality. And if it is, you need to snap out of it. How do you do that? Well, there is two things you can do. Number one is creating more space for yourself, right? Number one, right, is creating a morning routine, right? For everybody, it's different. I used to give an idea, but right now I always like to just say, whatever morning routine you have, chances are it should include something that when you wake up, you relax, you kind of realize that whatever, you don't take the phone and start floating. You don't look at all the emails. You just don't get reactive on the kids that are all around you. You just say, this is, if you're a mom, this is mom's time. Like you just watch the mirror. For me, it's like watching and imagining the stars and counting them. It's like you just really need to breathe. You need to breathe in. You need to relax because that's like the shield that you're building for the day. Not for the month, not for the week, for the day, because the day is going to be stressful. We live in an era that everybody's stressed. For some people, stress means something really stressful, like somebody passing away. For the other people, yes, no problem. Yeah, you're muted because yes, because you're muted just because I don't want like people to ask question now, but you can be unmuted later if you need to ask question. Okay. Um, so for other people, it's just like the phone call, right? So it's important that you understand how to really react to these things. It's quite important. Now, few things, for those of you that are here, that I mean, like one thing that I want you to do as the task, post your morning routine inside a group. If you're here and if you're watching a replay, okay, that's quite important. The other thing that you can start doing, and this is also another thing, is being aware in the moment. Being aware in the moments of things happening to you. Being aware when you're about to eat the food that you're not supposed to be eating. Being aware about why and why not something is happening to you. Being aware that you're stressed. Being aware how to react from the stress. How do you do that? Is with between 1 or 2 or 5 minutes meditation, and not the meditation. You can do any relaxation meditation, by the way, but the one thing that really show some improvement also on study is those things like meditating in a way that you breathe, that you really focus on your breath, and then you're gonna start seeing your thoughts going all over the place. You're gonna get a thought coming in, oh, I have to do this today. And whenever that happens, you wanna take back like your control. And it's like, no, I'm meditating right now. I just need to focus on my breath. That's one very good way to start, doing that. We have a full guide for that inside, the core, the foundation of the program of the course. If you're not in that, you can always like comment on the replay. I can provide it to you. I wanted to give some incentive here for people that, because we had a master class yesterday, it was really good. Somebody had one of these. And, I know that some of you weren't there, but kind of like maybe want to still check it out or see the replay. You know, and this is the last thing I'm gonna say. But I wanna reward the people that actually come here or that watch a replay and you comment as well. It wouldn't be fair for me to not say it because on the email that I'm gonna send out for the replay, I'm gonna say that. If you're already in that one, so Davida, Elizabeth, Claudia that I see here, do not get that. I mean, do not buy the replay because you already got it. It's automatically for you. The replay is for 197 euro. And why do we do that? Because there are things that are going to happen in there. There are things that is going to be, we're going to create another group. We're gonna do stuff very differently. There is gonna be another private group. There is gonna be another offer. So what I said yesterday, and I wanted to show it to you because there is two more things I'm gonna show you before the end. But one thing is that you might have seen is the platinum card. This card allows you to access to all the master classes. If you are not a member inside the program, it's a very good deal because for 297 you get the full website, the basic course of the website. You get the lifestyle master classes, and then you get 3 check-ins with me in which we can go over everything as well. And then you have 30 days access to the app. What I did yesterday, I give one away. One person was lucky inside that. What I'm gonna do today, I'm gonna basically say that if you get the replay for the masterclass for 197, you basically get the bonus for free, the whole thing. Meaning like you get the platinum card for free. And it's my way to say thank you for those that actually took action in there. It's my way to say thank you for those that are always here. And as I said, um, this is kind of like the way to kind of like reward you as well that you're here. The last thing I want to talk today about is the pyramid of success. I'm gonna become known for being, I guess, the guy from pyramids because we have pretty much pyramids for everything, but sometimes it helps visualizing things. Uh, Whenever you are here and you're those that most people live in here, they always want to hear the workout, the nutrition, or whatever. They always forget that the most important thing stays on the bottom, your belief. Okay? If you believe the earth is flat, even though you have scientific proof the earth is round, then you're gonna take action in a different way. We're talking about the principle of before, the success cycle. If you believe that you shouldn't be, the insulin resistance is not gonna give you weight loss, you're never gonna take action, right? So you want to change your belief shifting in a way like success is possible. Then you go in the principle. You need to understand the principle. This is why coaches exist. Yeah. This is why you shouldn't just get out there and go with random advice that says, oh, you can do keto and you can eat 3,000 calories or 4,000 and then get results. Yes, if you are Claudia, chances are you can because when you have an output of 5,000 calories, yes, you can. But if you're a random person, you cannot because you are going against the principle of thermodynamics, which is basically energy in versus energy out. When you realize the principle, then you need to understand, okay, what is the tactic we're gonna be, that strategy we're gonna be using? Maybe keto, maybe intermittent fasting, maybe fast cycling. Maybe we're just gonna create something according to your unique needs. When you have that, it's about strategy. It's about how can I make that happen? If I need to eat 2,000 calories, how can I make that happen? Should I just do meal planning? Should I do a recipe? Should I just have a very unique program for me because on the morning I cannot cook, on the night I can cook? So that's like the tools, like the tactics, sorry. The tools is like, how am I gonna do that? Am I gonna watch a video on YouTube? Am I just gonna have a coach telling me what to do? And there is always, if you don't get the pyramid to understand that your belief is the bottom, you always gonna be the one that says, this didn't work. And why didn't work? So is the system didn't work, or is you that approach the system in a way that it won't work? 90% of the time is the second, unfortunately. So change the way you see things. I hope this was helpful. It didn't take long, which is good news. Uh, you can unmute if you have any question. I know Kaya here, you had a question. If you, or maybe you have, maybe not, but maybe you have. So if any of you have a question, please unmute. If not, obviously we'll finish it here. I thought it was very important. Watch it again. There is 2 tests you have to do. number one, meditate. And if you don't know how to do, comment guide on the bottom of the replay. I'm gonna send you over that. Number one or two, whatever, like it's two things. Post your morning routine or your whatever daily routine. Like it's important to start the day, whether you're a night worker or whatever. Whenever you, the first thing you do whenever you wake, what is it? It's very important because that's going to create the space that's going to direct whether or not you start producing cortisol, therefore stress. That's going to also direct what you eat, maybe, or how you walk, or whatever. It's quite important. Any question, please, guys, unmute and ask. If you don't, just let me know you don't have on the chat. I'm here. I have another couple of, maybe 10 minutes or so to answer questions, or as much time as you need. It's also a Q&A time. If there anybody that wants to go into something very specifically, we can. It's up to you. But let me know. Either it was very clear, or otherwise you can also ask questions about the presentation. I'm glad that I see a few new faces. Please keep it up, especially the new one, and those that are here all the time also keep it up to really get this group to be really, really, really good. Yes. So anybody that needs to ask anything. Again, I don't know if it was so good or whatever, but yeah, go ahead, Claudia.
I got a question maybe regarding some help with my workout plan.
Yeah, okay.
Because it turns out that my planning for the gym doesn't work so well as I thought.
Okay.
So maybe it's the easiest if I write you what I'm doing there and you maybe comment on it if it's wrong or what I could do better.
Yeah, I think is yeah, maybe even a check-in we need. I don't know, like we need if we need to change something drastically, like it's probably better. Um maybe just tell me again what you had or what you're doing, and then we'll change it the way. But it's definitely something that we cannot do here. It's something that requires a little bit more attention. And also we need to figure out what's going on with your energy level again, because it's like I can see it in your face. You look very tired. You look like you haven't slept well, and we need like
I didn't
remember.
sleep at all.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So you need to kind of like we need to figure out what's going on that side as well, because maybe working out more is not a good idea. Maybe you need some more less frequency and whatnot. But watch also that last night call if you haven't watched it yet. Just watch it again because that's very specific, telling you also things on that. Anybody else?
Hi,
Davida,
Yazida here.
welcome.
Yes, hi, thank you. I have an odd question maybe. I was looking at the replay of the autoimmune.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I don't know if I missed it or if I didn't understand correctly, but you say that autoimmune diseases can hinder in some way. Does that include all autoimmune diseases or just the specific targeting metabolic issues such as
Uh,
thyroid and
I don't understand. What was the point? You said they can, and then I didn't like. Uh, I don't understand what
that
was the
they
statement.
can slow your progress or
Yes,
something.
yes,
They can,
yes. Mm-hmm.
but does
Yes,
that include all autoimmune
yes,
diseases? Okay.
yeah. You playing a video game with a hard setup, basically.
Yeah. Okay. So if I have
Now,
two,
well, it doesn't mean like well, it's kind of normal, but remember, in your case, for example, um, let me see if I can kind of show you what like. Let's get a little bit specific because this is kind of
yeah.
important, right? Uh, Let me just find up on a slide that I want to show you that um because this is gonna kind of like maybe you saw it before, maybe you haven't, so that's easy for me to okay, there you go. Okay. Basically we're here, right? Uh when I hear people saying after 40 I cannot lose weight or it's hard, very less of the time is because they have something. more of the time it's because the habits are not there. Okay, so it's like this represents metabolic syndrome. It's like insulin resistant. This represents ESH. Like the what you just said, autoimmune. These are have a very is a very different. You can use many different strategies, right? But they have a very different direction. Autoimmune disease, you're gonna need to understand what you're intolerant and what create the autoimmunity problem. Okay. Now,
Yeah.
can you hear me? Yeah. Then
Yeah.
the other one is a dysregulation of the sugar, which basically means that we have to understand: is it a stress problem? Is it a not monitoring sugar very well problem? Is it because your insulin is not produced well, or is it because you're resistant to it, right? And that one is more better, is more regulated with a chronic, a sustainable calorie. I don't want to say deficit, but calorie, let's say not surplus. And then it works really well with meal timing, and also works really well with understanding an amount of carbs as well as choices from the food. Some carbs are going to be better than others. Okay. When you see this
Yeah.
problem that you have on a lab, you are in a very advanced stage. Okay. We have metabolic damage here, which basically means like adaptation is like when you diet, then you are kind of like, this is what happens. Then it's only about 14 days. Then you got into resistance when you start seeing issues like, okay, my sleep is not well, then you're metabolically resistant. That goes along for months, right? If you keep
Mhm.
doing the wrong things, like keep working out and whatnot and dieting and restricting, then you go from an adrenal point of view, meaning like a stress point of view, cortisol, adrenals, insulin, to a thyroid. Okay, you could potentially have a thyroid now, and that shows up on a lab, and then maybe in 3 months from now you don't have it. Okay.
Because I've taken the thyroid test, and it's not that. I have psoriasis and psoriasis arthritis.
Mhm.
So I don't know if they show any of the T3, T4.
Mhm. But you definitely have the symptoms, right? So what basically I'm saying is like it's gonna basically take time because you have to recover your health first, and then thinking about all the rest. But then you have to ask yourself another question. If we know that that's the case, and we know that we need to prioritize sleep, and we need to prioritize hydration, and we need to prioritize rest, and we need to prioritize walking, those things needs to be done really, really relatively well in the beginning, right? Before we even thinking
Yeah.
about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
you're basically playing with a hard setup, but you really need to focus on those things before anything else. Okay. So
Okay.
that's kind of like the answer. So yeah, it's like um and you need to basically look for the symptom first and understand what are you really doing. But basically, this is what happening. You need to imagine yourself. It's really possible to get results. And this is the mindset because, like, if you say, I have two things, then you're basically going to not take action. And that's kind of problematic. But when you say it's actually possible, I mean, it's possible. It's just like you need to go one step at a time. Right now, again, even if it shows up or not, the first direction is the one thing, regulate sleep, work on relaxation, and walk a lot more. Not walk a lot more, but walk more
Yeah.
consistently. Like you walking, not to walk brisk walking, but more relaxation walking. Then you want to see the symptoms. Is this playing a good role into my symptoms or not? So that's kind of like the same thing, right? That's the
Okay.
question. Don't
Yeah.
get scared about you having some symptoms or
Yeah.
being
I wasn't really. I was just because I have always thought that it was more of the autoimmune diseases directly affecting like the thyroid problem.
Mhm.
And so I was, what? Am I in that group? Am I battling extra much? That was kind of
Yeah, I
just
mean, you have to work a lot more into food choices for sure. You have to be
uh,
a lot more aware about behaviors of feedback in your body. So let's say that you eat something and you get bloated all the time and you want to get gassy all the time or you go to the restroom. Chances are it's not a good idea to have it, even though you don't have a test telling you that your lactose intolerance or whatnot, or your gluten intolerance. Like those that have gluten intolerances and then they get everything with no gluten, and then they don't really care about how many calories it has, and then they check and they have like 30-40% more of the calorie, and they cannot lose weight, and then they say, see, I don't lose weight because I'm gluten intolerant. No, you
Hmm.
don't lose weight because you don't lose the logic. You don't use logic, which is basically saying, yeah, you are gluten intolerant, so should it be a good idea to eat it? Maybe, maybe not. It's your choice. But what can I do? I can have lactose free or gluten free, but I do have to have a respect for still the principles, right? The principle is thermodynamics. Have a check on the labels. Regular pasta has 300 calories, for example. Pasta with gluten has 500 calories. You know that you have to eat half of that, or maybe a little bit less, right? So
Yeah,
you always
yeah,
have to proceed critically thinking, right? Like that was the thing in university that our psychology class used to tell us. You have to always critically think. Those that are
hmm.
gonna win always think critically. You don't just go one-sided, right? So that's the one thing. Did
Yeah.
this answer your question?
Yes, I think
So
so.
it's gonna so you
Yeah.
always play with a hard setup. You're forced. But the good thing is that it's not that forever. If you can overcome and you can reboot your health, if you want to call it that, then you play with a normal setup. You're gonna go from hard to normal to easy. It's not gonna be from hard to easy. It's just gonna be slowly.
Okay.
Okay?
Excellent.
But
Yeah.
a very good question. Anybody else? If not, I'm gonna get some food and then keep working on some stuff. But I'm here if you need me. So anybody, Silamis, I haven't seen her for a while, but I know you've been busy. It's Elizabeth who was present, Marcela who was present, and then looks like a few new faces. Um, Anybody? Look like you're okay. So if that's the case, thank you so much for the attention. Believe it or not, it's one of the hardest currency we have, attention, and is also for you. You should really be paying attention to mentally where your brain goes every single day, when you wake up, when you scroll, when you have some focus. Believe it or not, the big enemy of success is focus, is not time, because when you think that we all have 24 hours, then half of it, maybe not half of it, but maybe, I don't know, 8 to 10 we sleep. Then we have a few for ourselves that some people work the whole time there. Yes, yes, thank you as well. Um, what we always forget is that in 6 hours, 8 hours, even 4 hours of good stuff, there is a lot of things you can do. But you have to have focus. If every single other minute you stop scrolling, you get an email, you get a phone call, then the time goes, of course. And that you get really reactive because I have done nothing with you say I have not done nothing with my time. But the reality is that you're not focused. So how to get focused is kind of like the next step. And it starts from having a good routine, creating space, some meditation as well. Thank you so much for the time. I wish you all well, an amazing week. I'm gonna keep reminding you next week. I'm gonna probably take some days off, not off from the work, but off from not being all the time on the computer. So what that means is good news for you because I'm gonna give even more time for the delivery part, meaning like I'm gonna be traveling to Italy, so I'm gonna have a lot of time on my hands. I'm being in the group more often. I'm gonna have some time for some check-ins if you need or whatever. So I'm gonna really focus on delivering more time to you guys. And this week I'm gonna also focus on picking up some of the people that are having some struggles there as well. Coach Jerry here. Hopefully this was fun enough and interesting. If you need me or Dory, message me actually this week because I know that she's going through some issues as well. Thank you for that as well. And again, watch the replay. Again, I keep emphasizing this. Being here live is important because you get to ask questions, you get to really feel the emotion. Watching a replay is also important because you just basically get the framework and you say, okay, this is what I'm gonna do, and then you do it. So it's always like not, there was a good quote in the past. It's not how many kicks you learn in a martial art, but it's how many times you can do one kick well, which is like 700 times one kick done well that give you the perfection. Even if we're not striving for perfection. But when you say, I want to learn so many new things, usually you don't learn even one way, which is a problem. So just get good into hearing me saying the same stuff and then do it. All the best. Have an amazing week. Thank you for the time. Bye bye. Take care. Bye bye.